मोदेत साधुरपि वृश्चिकसर्पहत्या लोकाश्च निवृत्तिम् इतः प्रतियन्ति सर्वे रूपं नृसिंहविभयाय जनाः स्मरन्ति तद्यच्छ मन्युम् असुरस्य हतस्त्वयाद्य मोदेत साधुरपि वृश्चिकसर्पहत्या लोकाश्च निवृत्तिम् इतः प्रतियन्ति सर्वे रूपं नृसिंहविभयाय जनाः स्मरन्ति Somebody like to repeat? तद्यच्छ मन्युम् असुरश्च हतस्त्वयाद्य मोदेत साधुरपि वृश्चिकसर्पहत्या लोकाश्च निवृत्तिमितः प्रतियन्ति सर्वे रूपं नृसिंहविभयाय जनाः स्मरन्ति तद्यच्छ मन्युम् असुरश्च हतस्त्वयाद्य मोदेत साधुरपि वृश्चिकसर्पहत्या लोकाश्च निवृत्तिमितः प्रतियन्ति सर्वे रूपं नृसिंहविभयाय जनाः स्मरन्ति Mataji, anyone? तद्यच्छ मन्युम् असुरश्च हतस्त्वयाद्य मोदेत साधुरपि वृश्चिकसर्पहत्या लोकाश्च निवृत्तिमितः प्रतियन्ति सर्वे रूपं नृसिंहविभयाय जनाः स्मरन्ति तद्यच्छ मन्युम् असुरश्च हतस्त्वयाद्य मोदेत साधुरपि वृश्चिकसर्पहत्या लोकाश्च निवृत्तिमितः प्रतियन्ति सर्वे रूपं नृसिंहविभयाय जनाः स्मरन्ति Let's see the word to word meaning. Tat, therefore, yacha, kindly give up. Manyum, your anger. Asuraha, my father Hiranyakashipu, the great demon. Cha, also. Hata, killed. Tvaya, by you. Adya, today. Modeta, take pleasure. Sadhu api, even a saintly person. Vrishchika sarpa hatya, by killing a snake or a scorpion. Lokaha, all the planets. Cha, indeed. Nivrittam, pleasure. Itaha, have achieved. Pratyanti, are awaiting for pacification of your anger. Sarve, all of them. Rupam, this form. Nisimha, O Lord Narasimhadeva, Vibhayaya, for mitigating their fear. Janaha, all the people of the universe, Smaranti, will remember. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. My Lord Narasimhadeva, please therefore cease your anger now that my father, the great demon Hiranyakashipu, has been killed. Since even saintly persons take pleasure in the killing of a scorpion or a snake, all the worlds have achieved great satisfaction because of the death of this demon. Now they are confident of their happiness, and they will always remember your auspicious incarnation in order to be free from fear. Purport. The most important point in this verse is that although saintly persons never desire the killing of any living entity, they take pleasure in the killing of envious living entities like snakes and scorpions. Hiranyakashipu was killed because he was worse than a snake or a scorpion, and therefore everyone was happy. Now there was no need for the Lord to be angry. The devotees can always remember the form of Narasimhadev whenever they are in danger, and therefore the appearance of Narasimhadeva was not at all inauspicious. The Lord's appearance is always worshipable and auspicious for all sane persons and devotees. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनाशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So, welcome to today's morning Srimad Bhagavatam class. So, I didn't know it's going to be a kids' class. So many of Prahlad Maharaj's friends are here. So, let's see how we will proceed with the class. Okay. So, in this section, we are dealing with the very beautiful prayers that Prahlad Maharaj is offering. Whom is he offering the prayers? To Lord Narasimhadev. Why? To pacify him. What happened? Why he needs pacification? He was angry because he was angry at Hiranyakashipu, right? So the Lord just now he killed Hiranyakashipu, and now he is still very angry. How many of you get angry? गुस्सा नहीं आता है आपको? आता है ना? नहीं आता है? अरे वाह! We have little Prahlad with us, but everybody gets angry. Yes, Vishaka, why do you get angry? Any reason? Randomly you get angry. There must be something specific. Sorry? Ah, brother may be irritating. Yes, brothers are always irritating. That's their dharma. Okay. Yes, Jagannath, why do you get angry? When somebody beats you or teases you, we get angry. Very good. Anybody else who like to share why they get angry? Why they get anger? Nobody gets anger? Really? Very good. right? So, no, Prabhuji, you don't have to share. Right. So we saw children are not when teacher gets angry. Yes. So sometimes it's okay to be angry. But so let us say your brother is irritating you and now you became very angry. But after some time, brother stops irritating you. Like you shout at him or something and then immediately he backs off. Then what happens? Does your anger immediately go vanish? What happens? You are still maintaining that anger. Right? Why? Because brother stopped irritating you. Why are you still angry? Did you ever notice this? Immediately, the moment the reason for our anger goes away, after exhibiting anger, we still continue that anger. We still hold on to that anger. Why? Why is that? Did you ever think about it? None of you hold on to your anger. You immediately forget your fight, Jagannath, you're fighting with your friends. And then the friend says, sorry, 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 I don't want to fight. So immediately your anger goes away. You still want to beat him up some more, no? Yeah. So why is that happening? Because of ego. Yes, very good. Because of the ego. Because once you created that anger within you, anger takes charge of you. We are not in control of our anger, but anger is in control of us. That's why we are helpless, right? That's the problem with anger. Now, if you see this pastime here, Hiranyakashipu is already killed. So why is Narsingadev still angry? Somebody may think, oh, Narsingadev is also like us. Because anger took control of Narsingadev. Is it? No. Vishaka is saying no, it can't be because Narsingadev is in control always. Right? So Prabhupada gave a very nice class on this verse. And he gives this very beautiful dialogue that is happening between Narsingdev and Prahlad Maharaj. Because Prahlad Maharaj is trying to pacify Lord Narsimha. But Narsingdev is not giving up his anger because there is something he wanted everybody to realize. So, first, immediately, as soon as uh, Lord killed Hiranyakashipu and he was still angry, and Prahlad Maharaj came to pacify him. So, Narsingdev was still very angry, shouting, I killed your father. But Prahlad Maharaj said, it's okay. He was demon anyway, right? Demons need to be killed by the Lord. It's okay. So there's no reason for you to continue to your anger anymore. Nobody is upset with you. Because usually we extend that anger because we think what will others think about us. So we continue that role, right? So when you said ego, right? So we continue that role because we don't want to break our role. Sometimes you're so absorbed in that role, even though the purpose for your anger is gone, you still are holding on to that anger. So Prahlad Maharaj replies saying that no, he was anyway a demon. Demons are to be killed by you, my lord. So nobody is complaining here. But maybe your family is upset. Right? How can you say that everybody is not? But your family must definitely be upset. Hiranyakashipu, he's the leader of your family. But then Prahlad Maharaj replies, Prabhupada says, but he tortured me so much, everybody in my family is upset with him. Right? Especially my mother. She was so, her gentle motherly heart was so burdened seeing my father torture me. So she also was very upset about with my father. So don't worry, nobody in my family is upset with you. Then what about the devatas who are witnessing my outrage? Because usually we think, na, Lord is Atmaram, Aptakam, but suddenly he broke his role and he became very angry. So, what about the Devatas? How are they perceiving this? So, in the previous verse, Prahlad Maharaj, he clarifies that, right? They say that, this is your appearance in this fearful form is your pastime for your own pleasure. So, they understand this is your Lila. So, they are not at all upset with you. So please don't think anything otherwise. Okay, the demigods are advanced. What about the whole world? Maybe the world in future will judge me that here is the Lord who came and out of nowhere he just killed some random person, right? Because especially today, all the non-atheistic propaganda, they try to find faults with anything that the Lord does. So see, here is Lord. He massacred poor Hiranyakashipu. Ram killed the poor Ravan. What was Ravan doing? He was just living in his own. He went to his country and dropped a bomb and killed him. Right? What is that? So he did a surgical strike in Lanka. Ram is to be blamed. So people like to put whatever argument. So Narsinghdev was a little conscious of that. So he tells Prahlad Maharaj, what about the world? Then he says, no, no. In this verse, he answers that. Lokascha nivritim itha pratiyanti sarve. The whole world is happy with you, my lord. In fact, they are so happy with you. Now they want to meditate on this form of yours. Whenever they are in danger, they like to meditate on this form of yours. So you have actually, don't worry, the whole world is now happy with this form of yours, with you, right? But then, isn't my form fearsome? Isn't it scary? So then Prahlad Maharaj, he replies that no, 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 actually your form is scary for the enemies, not for those who are seeking protection from you, right? So like imagine you are in danger and you call the police, and the police comes in a big van and with lot of weapons. And so will you be scared by looking at police, looking at all the weapons, or you will feel more assured, you'll feel more happy, some strong protector has come, right? So Prahlad Maharaj is saying, looking at your fierce form, the whole world is happy that, oh, here is a protector worthy of taking shelter. Okay, then he says, but maybe the whole world, you are saying that, he specifically says, I am not afraid of your fearful form because I am very happy with your form. Then Prahlad Maharaj, Narsinghdev asked Prahlad Maharaj that, but maybe in general you are fearless. That's why perhaps, your father threw you from the mountain, he tried to trample you under elephants, you never got scared. Maybe by nature you are a fearless person. Then Prahlad Maharaj replies, no, no, no. I am very scared person. I am afraid of getting lost in this material world. I am afraid of your Maya Shakti. I am afraid of forgetting you. So don't think I'm fearless. I need your protection. I need your shelter. Right? So then, okay, that's fine. But what about the sadhus? The sadhus, they are ahimsavadis, the pure devotees of the Lord. They are, they live by the principle of ahimsa, asteya, shanti. These are the virtues that define a sadhu. I'm sure they must be thinking what kind of a himsavadi, ashanti kari person I am. So then in this verse, Prahlad Maharaj, he assures Narsinghdev saying that, no, no, my lord, they delight. A sadhu by nature, modeta sadhurapi vrishchika sarpahatya. When an envious creature like a snake or a scorpion is killed, even then sadhus, they delight. Even though they are ahimsavadis, they delight in such acts. And this is the theme that Prahlad Maharaj actually is highlighting and Narsinghdev wanted to bring out through this whole conversation. So if you see the progression of Prahlad Maharaj's prayers, at one level, yes, he is trying to pacify Lord Narsimha. But the main theme Prahlad Maharaj is trying to highlight to these prayers is how he wants to become Mam Nijabhitya Parshavam. I want to become the servant of your servants. Your servant, Nijabhritya, I want to become an assistant, a servant of theirs. Because that is the way I can overcome my fear of this material existence, the fear of not falling back again into this pool of Maya. My only shelter are the sadhus. So this whole set of prayers of Prahlad Maharaj are actually, if you see, the main theme is surrender like the sadhus. Surrender to the Lord begins by imbibing the mood of the sadhus, like how they surrender to the Lord. And this is a very important uh, side theme which I want to highlight today, because uh, in the journey of a sadhaka, when they go through the whole karma and jnana and dhyana, and finally when they come to the path of ananya bhakti, where the sadhaka is now exclusively dependent on that one supreme Lord. And if you see the broader Vedic, Prabhupada's god brother, OBL Kapoor, very nice passage he writes on this, uh, about what is that role Shraddha plays in the Bhakti yogi's life. Because if you approach the Vedas for self realization, the first thing that will happen to you is you'll be confused. Because Rig Veda is glorifying Indra and Varuna, Atharva Veda is Indra and Agni, Atharva Veda is glorifying Varuna. And then as you start reading all the Vedas, and then somehow you come into the Vedic pantheon and you'll be wondering, oh, there are so many options I have to choose from, right? Our Vedic culture, it's not like Anakshetra, it's like Govindas. In Anakshetra, you only get one khichdi and you have to be satisfied with that, right? Like many other popular world traditions. But here we are like Govinda, so many things on the menu to choose from. And more options mean more confusion. So it's very natural that a typical Vedic practitioner is bound to get confused in this journey of self realization. And that's where, if you see the Vedic thought, how it very beautifully evolved, especially the way the Bhakti traditions glorify this concept of Ananya Bhakti, Ekanta Bhakti. You surrender to that one supreme. And very nicely, OBL Kapoor, he writes that how uh, the moment a typical Vedic personality who is doing so many yajnas to please the different devatas, suddenly he moves his entire Shraddha from the whole Vedic pantheon to one person. He has to invest some trust, some faith that yes, this supreme person is going to save me. In fact, many of us, even when we begin our devotional life also, we had so many other shelters and sources of pleasure, and suddenly we give up all of those and then we enter into the path of Ananya Bhakti, exclusively surrendering to Krishna. And the back of our mind there is a doubt, "Hmm, will Krishna really save me when I'm in crisis because I gave up all my other shelters of this world? Will Krishna really save me?" And this Shraddha that one develops, this faith that one develops, that yes, Krishna is going to save me. Avashya Rakshibe Krishna. This is the beginning of our journey of bhakti. Mind you, this faith in Ekanta Bhakti is not like the concept of faith as we popularly understand in modern societies, in modern faith traditions, in religions. Faith is just some belief in some historical events, that so and so Messiah got resurrected, or so and so Messiah got the messages from the Supreme Lord directly, right? It's not faith in some historical event, but rather this faith, because in such faith traditions, faith is the entire substance of their practice. But in the bhakti tradition, faith is the seed which has to be watered through our sadhana to grow into the creeper of prema. So, this is a very important difference. So, you just believing that Krishna is supreme is just the first step, it's a seed. But you need to water that seed through your daily sadhana, through your swadhyaya, through your seva, through following the sadachara. And that's how the Bhakti Lata it grows. The creeper of bhakti grows from the seed to eventually a creeper that will reach Goloka, to the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. Therefore, we need that to begin this journey of bhakti, we need that seed of Shraddha. And that seed of Shraddha is something that you cannot acquire on your own. That's why when Chaitanya Charitamrita says you are Bhagyavan Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasade Paye Bhakti Lata Bij, that bij or the seed, by roaming, by wandering through the entire universe, one will not be able to gain this wealth. But just by the causeless mercy of Guru and Krishna, one gets this seed of Bhakti Lata. And that seed is something that comes from not by imitating sadhus, but by getting inspired by them. And this, not blind imitation, but something that induced by inspiration is a very important theme that Prahlad Maharaj is also trying to highlight in these prayers. That only a sadhu whose heart is filled with prema can inspire that seed of Shraddha within us. It's not something possible by ordinary. It's not an academic process where you read, okay, Brahma Samhita says Ishvara Parama Krishna, okay, therefore I have to surrender. Oh, Bhagavatam says Ete Chamsa Kalapam Sham Krishnastu Bhagavan Sam. Oh, yes, Krishna is the supreme. Yes, I have all the Shastic references. Guess what? Start reading other Puranas, you will get references for others also. Right? Like our Ravindra Swarup Prabhu says, there are different shloks for different folks. So if you try to ascertain the absolute truth by your own logic and by your own study, all the best. You will never come to a conclusion. Right? So somewhere this Bhakti Shraddha has to be inspired, induced through the inspiration coming from the other Prema Bhakta. And that's what you will see. Srila Prabhupada, he managed to do that. He managed to inspire this Bhakti Shraddha even in a place where culturally they had no frame of reference for what, in fact, many Prabhupada disciples, they would say even in the earlier years, they could not even understand Prabhupada's accent, what he's saying. Right? So like literally, there's a whole 67 or 66 lecture where Prabhupada is narrating the Sanatan Goswami pastime. And the devotees in their notebook, they wrote Santon, Santon, Santon. Who is this Santon? Because the way Prabhupada would pronounce the word Sanatan Goswami, Sanatan, 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 in this Bengali accent, they wrote, oh, Santon, Santon. Maybe Santa is there, maybe then Santon must also be there, you know. So that was a cultural frame. They didn't even know. Once Prabhupada was addressing some other gathering of some very elite ladies of that place, and Prabhupada was talking about Krishna, and the audience were looking at Prabhupada with a strange look on his face. And then Prabhupada pauses for a second, and you can hear Prabhupada's anguish in that tone. You don't know Krishna? Right? Person who's so dear to him, to Srila Prabhupada, he saw these people didn't even know who Krishna is. And there was some pain in his voice. You don't know Krishna? Right? And to such people in that kind of a setting, he was able to start a whole bhakti revolution because of this one principle, that this bhakti lata, the seed of bhakti, cannot be acquired through austerity, cannot be acquired through intellectual pursuits, it cannot be acquired just by some pious credits. It has to be induced from the heart of a pure devotee into the heart of a seeker. Right? Therefore, this is the irreplaceable role a sadhu plays in the bhakti tradition, especially in this path of raga marga. The raga bhakti is that path where you have to follow another raga bhakta. It's not that, okay, I start seeing there's a manual for Raga Bhakti. Oh, okay, this is what I need to do. Oh, when I see Krishna, I'm supposed to faint. That is called Sahajism. But when you serve such a pure devotee, emulate, follow in their footsteps, by their grace, we come to a state where we naturally faint when we see Krishna. Like every morning, as soon as we take darshan of the Lord, we follow a very important ritual. What is that ritual? As soon as the darshan opens, what do we do? Yes, kids, what do we do as soon as the darshan opens? We offer dandavat. What does dandavat mean? To fall like a stick. But what do we do for us? Rotate your body vertically by 90 degrees. Then rotate your body horizontally by 90 degrees. Then mumble some sounds. Then again realign your body 90 degrees up and then rotate again by 90 degrees. Basically, what are we doing? We are mechanically repeating something. But why do we offer Dandavat? Anybody knows why do we offer Dandavat? Because in Goloka, Krishna, all night he's at home. The Gopas are waiting. They already, before Krishna comes out, Gopas are already waiting outside his house. Krishna, let's go, let's go. They are eagerly waiting. And sometimes how even 1 minute if the darshan is late, our devotees are eager. They are giving passing subtle messages to the pujaris inside. So Mother Yashoda, she is dressing Krishna every day in the morning, giving him bath, dressing him up, putting his morpunk, putting all the nice ornaments and decorations. And Mother Yashoda opens the door of Nanda Bhavan. And immediately the Gopas are so excited out of their eagerness, they couldn't wait to meet Krishna. And now when the moment has come, in ecstasy, they faint and then they fall. Right? That is the eagerness that the Gopas have. But what to do? We are not so advanced. So we try to follow in the footsteps of Gopas, at least repeating their action mechanically, hopefully hoping that one day it will come straight from the heart. And without telling anyone, we will faint and offer our dandavat. Literally, that is real dandavat. You fall like a stick when you faint. Right? So that is the path of Raga Bhakti, which you cannot artificially imitate. It has to be induced. It has to be. Therefore, we need to understand that the Vaishnavism, the Vaishnava Dharma is beyond the Vedic Dharma. It is something that you cannot understand these things just by your own intellectual pursuit. Like in our recent Prabhupada Disappearance Day festival, I was making this offering that how you cannot ascertain the truth by your logic. Tarko apritishtaha. You cannot establish based on tarka. So this verse, which I'm quoting now from Mahabharata, many years ago when I was still working, this is 2007. Yes, I was in the esteemed company of His Grace Anand Chaitanya Prabhu. Yes. And Prabhu quoted this verse. The first time I actually heard this verse with great conviction was from Prabhu's lips. So it's honored I'm repeating the verse back in front of him. Right? So, tarka apritashta, you cannot establish by tarka, by logic, you cannot establish. And if you follow the Shrutis, if you follow the Vedas, there are so many vibhinna, right? And even the different sadhus, different rishis, they have different opinions, different matas about what is the truth, right? That's why Sukadeva Goswami, when Parikshit Maharaj was about to fast unto death, he asked this question to the assembly of audience, right? And very beautifully, this there's a book where this dialogue has been captured, where before Sukadeva Goswami starts speaking, different rishis, they start presenting their perspective of the correct answer to Parikshit's question. Because Parikshit's question is, what is the duty of a person who's about to die and responsibility of a person in general? So different sadhus sitting there. Maitreya, our Gautam Muni gives his answer based on logic. Jaimini starts giving an answer based on karma mamsaka. So all this dialogue is very beautifully captured. And then when Shukdev Goswami comes, just by looking at the Brahma Tejas on Shukdev Goswami, they all understood this person has realized the truth. He is a Mahatma. Therefore, let us all keep our mouths shut and listen from the Mahatma. Right? Therefore, that's why this secret of dharma can only be understood by Mahajano Yena Gatah Sapanta. So only by following in the panta, in the footsteps of a Mahajan. Therefore, this Raga Bhakti can only be understood in a pantha. The word pantha today we also have an extended meaning. Like in Hindi, they ask, "Aapka panth kya hai? What is your tradition? What is your sampradaya?" Right? So this is so our sampradaya. Therefore, we have to understand that we have to follow our pantha. We have to follow the teachings of our acharyas and thoughtfully internalize them. And that is where now, in our journey of self realization, we go from mental speculation. We understand no, mental speculation is not going to work. We have to follow the Shruti, we have to follow the Vedic, we have to follow the Vedas. But then you enter into the Vedas, you understand, oh, this is so complicated. I can't understand this. Even Shabda Praman is very difficult to understand. Therefore, I need to follow a pantha. I need to follow a sampradaya. I need to imbibe the mood according to a particular tradition. And somehow, by your causeless fortune, you enter into the tradition of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, the path of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and you think, yes, I am saved. But guess what? The real confusion begins here. Because even within the Gaudiya Vaishnava teachings, there is so much of, I don't want to use the word disparity, but I'll use the word variety. Right? So that we don't offend any other Vaishnavas. There is so much of variety in the way they are expressing their love and devotion to Radha and Krishna that you will get even more confused. Every person wearing a Gaudiya Vaishnava tilak needs to be respected but not necessarily followed. So even within a pantha, you can be very easily confused. And now, so beyond mental speculation, beyond Shabda Praman, beyond a Sampradaya, comes the understanding of following a sadhu, following an acharya. And that is why we may have so many wonderful Vaishnavas, but we will follow the mood and teachings of Srila Prabhupada. That we should be very, very convinced about it. Our true north, when in doubt, refer to Prabhupada's purports. And this is where a very important theme from this verse comes out. Sometimes the statements and actions of sadhus may even contradict the Shastra. Whom will you follow? Shastra or sadhu? Shastra or that acharya? Sadhus are many again. You'll follow the Shastra or the acharya. Because if you see here, the scriptures say you should not kill any living entity. This verse is a very dangerous verse to discuss in this time of the year. Those of you who live here, you know the reason. Right? But sometimes sadhus, they delight in killing of vrishchika and sarpa, scorpions and snakes. Right? Are we violating our own Vedic teachings of ahimsa? So one has to understand snakes and scorpions, they are, again, not every snake and scorpion is to be killed. Even among snakes, like we have so many snakes here, but we don't kill every snake. This is not a verse. In fact, in that lecture which I was quoting earlier, Prabhupada very fondly remembers that famous episode where once when he was, and Prabhupada writes, I was a neophyte devotee that time. And I entered into Gaudiya Math. And then from the balcony, Bhakti Siddhanta, when he saw there's a snake, immediately he called the devotee saying, kill that snake, kill that snake. And I was thinking, Why is my Guru Maharaj killing a living, innocent living entity? Then later when I read this verse, I understood. So because it was a poisonous snake and a sadhu understands that it's not only poisonous but it's also envious, Bhaktisiddhanta gave that order. So therefore, even to understand what Shastras are saying, we need that sadhu praman. So very nicely, in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Kaviraj Goswami, he quotes the power of this sadhu praman. In the glories of Nityananda Balram chapter, 5th chapter of Adi Lila, Kaviraj Goswami, he starts by saying, oh, let's discuss the glories of Nityananda. And then he talks about the different Shais, Sankarshan, the Garbhodaksha Vishnu, Kshirodaksha Vishnu, Karnodaksha Vishnu, right? And then Anantasesh. And he describes all of them, quotes how they are the supreme from different scriptures. He quotes so many Praman, etc., etc. Glories of Anantasesha, he starts describing. And then suddenly he makes one jump. In one verse, he says, that Anantasesha is Nityananda, therefore I worship Lord Nityananda. So he quotes lot of Vedic references for glories of Anantasesha, but he never gives one single scriptural reference for the authenticity of Nityananda Prabhu. For Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, at least we have some references. Even though it's a Channa avatar, there are some isolated references for the supreme personality, that is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But Nityananda Prabhu is a very difficult tattva to understand. There is no Shastrik Praman as such you will easily find. So then what does Kaviraj Goswami do? He makes that one statement and then makes this statement after this. This is text number 127. He says, Athava bhaktera vakyamani satyakari sakala sambhave tante yata avatari. I accept all this as truth because it has been said by devotees. That's it. Period. Because the sadhus, the devotees have said this, I accept this as truth. So beyond the Shabda Praman, there is the Sadhu Praman, Acharya Praman, Bhakta Praman. Kaviraj Goswami quotes his own personal experience in this chapter. How Nityananda Prabhu came in his dream and how his brother offended Nityananda Prabhu. But Nityananda Prabhu saw that Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, he is a true worshipper of Gauranga and Nityananda and never saw a difference between both of them. Nityananda Prabhu came in his dream and told him, now you go to Vrindavan. Nityananda Prabhu gave access to Vrindavan to Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. So that whole episode he narrates in this. So this is there any Shastrik Praman for it? Now Chaitanya Charitamrita is Shastra for us. But back then, how do you understand this? Can I just take the personal experience of somebody and make that as a Praman? And this is where a very revolutionary epistemological concept comes in. In the Bhakti traditions, that Shraddha that we spoke about earlier, in the words of a sadhu, in the mood of a sadhu, that becomes the seed for one's devotional practice. Right? And of course, there's a very important, while we are glorifying this Sadhu Praman, we also need to warn about the dangers of this. Because does it mean everybody and anybody, any sadhu, anybody will say anything, and that's what is happening today in the online world? Everybody has their own theories, right? So does it mean we start following everyone and anyone? And this is where an important principle of how we need to get inspired and not imitate comes in. And how we have to understand the difference between the seed and the substance. The sadhu praman is the seed. It's like somebody tells you what is the way to Govardhan Eco Village, and then they show you, oh, this is the route. So you take their word for it, but then it's not that you're just blindly following. You'll also see some other landmarks. Are they coming or not? which means somewhere you need to own your own realizations. So in this journey of Sadhu Praman, sadhus give us the direction. It's like they are giving you a map. When we read our Acharya's books, when you read Madhurya Kadamini, our entire bhakti journey is described. When you read Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, from Shraddha to Prema, the whole journey is described, and you may have memorized all the verses. But just because you memorize the book or you memorized a map doesn't mean you have accomplished the journey. Knowing the map will be handy to overcome the obstacles that may come in this journey, but memorizing a map does not mean you have accomplished the journey. This is the danger in Sadhu Praman. Somehow, by some causeless grace, we have access to some advanced concepts and topics, certain esoteric bhavas, which was closed from the whole world. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu opened that tijori, that treasure trove. And Rupa Goswami has structured that and given a path for that. And we have access to those books about the esoteric moods of the Brajavasis, of the Gopis, of Radharani. Just because we have access to that doesn't mean we are already there. We have to get inspired by them, go through this journey, and understand that I need to own my own realizations. So that's the important danger, that we may think that we are suddenly advanced. And that's why it is good to be in the company of advanced souls, because we will constantly get nourished and get inspiration from them. But it's also dangerous to be in the company of advanced souls, because you'll start thinking, I am also advanced. Just because a fly is sitting on the head of the lion doesn't make him the king of the jungle. Everybody's bowing down in front of the lion. Fly is thinking, oh, look, they are bowing down to me. Right? So it's not, fly is still a fly. It has to do tapasya and become lion someday in some lifetime. Right? So that's the point here. Therefore, this mood of understanding the role sadhus play, an acharya plays, and that acharya Narad Muni, eventually, Lord is standing before him and Prahlad Maharaj is saying, thank you very much, Lord. Can you please bless me that I get association of Narad Muni? That's eventually the prayer of Prahlad Maharaj. So we need to understand this mood of Prahlad Maharaj. And these prayers are very, very dear to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada would many times quote from these prayers. He wrote a whole small book. He gave lecture series on these prayers, right? Because if you really want to understand the mood of bhakti, this essence that Prahlad Maharaj is talking about, surrendering to the Lord by surrendering to a devotee, by serving a devotee, that's the main theme that will eventually come out. The future speakers will highlight that with more prayers of Prahlad Maharaj. All right, these are a few thoughts which I wanted to share. If anybody would like to ask any questions or any comments, any reflections. Okay, we'll end our discussion here. Thank you so much. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्री प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय.